Okay, this video is for T. Bailey, 111. You want to do the same thing that you would do with a large group of players, the same with a small group of players. Warm up, possession, finishing on goal, crossing and finishing with playing to big goals. In terms of odd numbers, depends how many goalkeepers you have, right? So let's say you have one goalkeeper and 12 field players. You put that keeper in goal, you bring the goals in tight, right? So there's rapid transition between offense and defense. You split the teams up into three, so as they're as even as you can, and if there's one player odd, then just have him play as a neutral player perpetually. You usually want that player to be your best midfielder, because your best midfielder usually doesn't have to run as hard as other kids to get a lot done, right? Because he's usually very good technically, or just dominant in the middle of the field, because he can connect passes and dictate play with his vision and his touch, right? So you could still run a possession game in a tight area with 10 players max, even with a goalkeeper. Finishing on goal, run the same thing back. You run the same thing back with then crossing and finishing, assuming you do have a goalkeeper, right? If they're 17 years old, then even a Division II side, they should be should have some technical abilities. Like, we're not talking tots, very young kids here. If we're talking tots, I would say do ball mastery, dribbling sequences, playing the barrel game, and then their version of the game finisher at the end would be 1v1 to small cones. But it doesn't sound like they're, U17 for Division 2 sounds like they're decent. So yeah, warm up, possession game, either possession, 2-team possession with first unlimited touch, then dropping down to 2-touch with 1 on the takeover, or you could do 3-team possession, so include the goalkeeper and then do possession. Let's say you have 12 kids total, or no, you said you only have 10 kids total, so you could do I would do two teams of 5, and then you could play 2 teams of 5, and then do the first thing that I said, which is 2-touch, drop down a 2-touch max with 1 on the takeover, or you could put small gates around, right? You want to put 4 to 5 gates around your field, and then to score points, your team's got to play the ball to their own teammate through the gate, right? And then like three times they get through the gates, that's 1 point, and then they're playing to 5, or they're playing to whatever, or the game ends when someone goes through the gate however many times, right? You make that up. And then finishing on goal, right? You start the line maybe a few paces back from the 18, like 10 yards from the 18, then they're going as fast as they can, low, hard-driven ball into the side netting. Goalkeeper can rotate in and out. You don't need the goalkeeper to do this finishing on goal drill, right? 5 to 10 minutes of finishing on goal, then it's 5 minutes of volleys, right, from a good distance away, right? You're facing the goal, players line up, and then from behind you, and then they run, they give you their ball, then they're facing you. You throw the ball over their head, they spin around, 1-touch volley, right? They run onto the ball, 1-touch volley, finish on goal. And this may be tough for some goalkeepers, so you just tell your goalkeepers either both or 1 or none, just to rotate in and out of the goal as they please. And then crossing and finishing, two lines of crossers alternating, right? Balls are at each side on the sides. You're pretty high up the field, even with the semicircle. And then you have 2 lines a little bit deeper, with a trailing run. Those 2 lines on the insides, they're crisscrossing, finishing on goal, right? If you don't have a backstop behind your goal, you may need to take a few moments to reset the crossing lines, because you either don't have enough balls or don't have enough players, right? So then all the lines are rotating. And then lastly, just finishing on playing to big goals, make the teams, like I said, as even as possible. You want to ideally split the teams up into 3, because if you just have 2 teams playing, there's no risk reward. With 3 teams and with players on the outside as bumpers with 1 touch, this makes it so that there's incentive to win the game, because you get to stay on and play, and then if you lose, you have to play as a bumper, and this helps keep the players sitting off engaged.
Have fun. I love you.
This keeps the bumpers engaged, because now they want to play great passes to the players on the field, because the better the passes they play, the faster in theory they'll be able to get on the field, since if their pass can help the team who has control of possession score, then they get to hop on. Right? So you want to make the big goals, right? Playing the big goals, or if you don't have access to big goals, you can use, if you only have 1 big goal, you can use 1 big goal here, and then like two pug goals, or you could use 2 garbage cans. Like one team's got to play to the big goal, or then one team's got to hit either of the, right? You got to hit either of the little goals, or you could play, or if you only have 1 keeper, then you can do Roman, right? Roman goalkeeper, just whoever the deepest man is has ability to use their hands as a goalkeeper, right? So that's what I would do every single practice, even with 10 players. And I think you want to make the field tight, right? Because then it's fast decision making. It's fast decision making, and you're transitioning rapidly. Each team is transitioning rapidly from offense to defense, which replicates gameplay so elegantly, right? It's every single thing that you need to be effective in a game: possession, finishing on goal, volleys, crossing and finishing, and then playing, like mimicking real, genuine gameplay with no restrictions. The only thing that isn't 1-for-1 with playing that last final part is that I don't think, Coach Doug Nevins we would never have offsides. He would never restrict the touches during the final game, and we would never use offsides, and the fields are always tight and narrow to encourage a lot of, very fast movement, transitioning the points of attack rapidly, and then just a lot of scoring and a lot of fun. So I hope this helps, and reach out with any questions. All right, thank you.